Come out of the bar.
Hello YouTube, cheers and welcome to The Basement. My name is Bruce Lively.
And I'm D-Boy Slim.
And The Basement Debates is the first exclusive hip-hop debate format. Every Tuesday and Friday, we tackle the most intriguing topics in hip-hop culture and the world around it. So welcome back, Basement family. Today is a special Monday edition of The Basement Debates, people. Thanks to Gucci making a blackface sweater. Period. No doubt.
Kidding me?
The battle rap episode is still on the way, people, but we had
to address this one.
We had to address this. We had to give this a good debate on today. And that question today,
we wouldn't be a good hip-hop show, bottom line, if we didn't address this one.
Facts. And you know how we do. We stay social with it. Is Gucci racist? That's the question. With that being said, let go. Yeah, is Gucci racist? It seems like a dumb question at this point, but I might have some perspective for you.
I think I might let you start out because I actually want to look up the technical definition of racism or what a racist is.
Do that. So I'm going to say this. Is Gucci racist? Sounds like an easy question, but I think there's nuance here. I think there's not the racism of a Jim Crow or of a Klansman. I think what we have here is literally the racism of neglect. The racism of neglect. What do I mean by that? Check it out, people. The shirt in question, should be a picture over here, is the ugliest turtleneck sweater that I've ever seen. Gucci is charging $800 plus for it. You know what that means? You're out of touch. You're out of touch. The same person who thinks that shirt is worth $800 is only because they can afford that and they want people to know that they bought something for $800 that's ugly. Look at the runways. Look at the runway models. Sticks coming out their hair, branches out of hair. Nobody can wear that, but it's $1 million joint because it's a status symbol. What they've done is they've neglected the world around them. They are out of touch. They live in such a bubble that real life no longer exists. They live in a bubble that they have created for themselves where they have pushed out all the people who are hungry. They push out all the people who live real life and work the floors for them and sweep the floors for them. They push out the politics of the day. And they live in this bubble where they neglect real things going on, so much so that by the time they get to where they want to make a fantastic, stupid idea of a turtleneck that goes all the way up here and they put red lipstick around it, they weren't even thinking about blackface because it doesn't matter to them. It's neglect of it completely. And when they brought it to their attention, the black and the white people who work at Gucci, they were like, damn, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice. Honestly, that's how far out of touch they have become. That's how far out of touch you become when you're Kanye and you charge $12,000 for a pair of shoes. That's how far out of touch you become when you get a plain white tee that costs $700. That's how far out of touch you become when you design things that look ugly on purpose so you can just prove how much money you have because you have neglected the realities of life. You've neglected all of the things that happened before you or gonna happen after you. There's no consequences for someone like you. Gucci, Versace, all of these people who live in that fashion bubble and know that they're gonna get stupid idiots to pay the crazy prices for money that they don't have, especially black people who could be using that money to better themselves and pay rent. Because T.I. said it, we have the least amount of money and the most amount of spending power. That means somewhere in there, people are making a sacrifice to buy a $900 Gucci sweater.
Makes it even more despicable.
So, honestly, yes, it's racist, but I don't think it's racist in the way that most people think it is. I think it's simply a neglect. It's simply, I forgot about you. It's simply nothing matters except me and this bubble and the money I can get from my crazy ideas. I honestly don't even think that they saw blackface in it when they were making that ugly crap. I think they do it all the time, and sometimes it just ends up looking like this.
Bruce.
Hey.
There have been times that, you know, we cover these social issues, whether it be about Trump or Kanye, as you just mentioned, and we end up on the same side of the coin. This one, I would have to say you're way off base. I took the time and the liberty and initiative to look up racism because I didn't want to mix my words up or say something that took on a different meaning or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was what I thought it was. First, let me say this. The question of the day is Gucci racist?
Period.
They are, in my book, 99.8% racist. At
best. Okay.
At the very least, they're prejudiced.
Okay.
At the very least.
Okay.
If we say, oh, well, you know,
I'd say that bubble makes them prejudiced. Yes.
If I took what Bruce said with weight and said, oh, you know, it's negligence on their part, then you would have to, at the very least, call them prejudice.
Yeah. That bubble definitely makes them prejudice. Because if you're not in it, you don't matter.
There is no getting around it. There is no getting around it. First of all, you can't tell me $1 billion brand and company who has probably thousands upon hundreds of executives and people that oversee the brand, people that make sure the brand stays intact, its integrity is maintained. These are things that, you know, for a successful brand to go on for the amount of years that Gucci has gone on, you must have, you know, and you insult our intelligence by, you know, the apology or even saying anything, you know, contrary to that, or trying to make us believe it's something different from that. You know, I heard T.I. stated, and he also, you know, maintained that he owns three clothing lines currently, and he'll tell you the exact same. I've never owned one of myself, but he would tell you the exact same thing. And anybody who knows anything about business knows that before anything leaves the warehouse, before anything leaves the factory, before anything leaves where you know, somebody has to sign off. Somebody has to see the product and say, this is okay to represent our brand, and I will sign off for it to hit the racks and hit the shelf. That was done. That was checked off. So it's inexcusable to think, to even allow yourself to think that someone was that negligent or neglected to be in touch with reality that much that they would allow such buffoonery to represent their brand, as especially something that's marked at $800. So, which is they're in high-end fashion anyway, but that is idiotic. They have belts that cost $200-$300, whatever have you, slippers that cost $200-$300. So it's not the highest product that they sell or whatever have you, but I think it was done purposely. I think it was done deliberately to mock and make fun of. And this is why I say at the very least it's prejudice. But racism is discriminating against someone solely for the purpose of race. Mm-hmm. Well, when you start to sell product that mirrors and mimics the blackface, Sambo, the cartoons that were meant to make fun of black people. What other option do you give us but to feel like this is what's going on right now?
So it ends up being a question of, did they do it to purposefully mimic blackface, or did they do it with such an abject disassociation from history and people in their bubble that when they did it, they literally thought they was putting lipstick on white people with their thing. I think that it seems almost impossible to us to know people in that bubble.
No, it doesn't.
So, right, but I can tell you that there are people right now, black folks, that go on CNN and MSNBC every day and tell you about the time when Trump was saying that...
Trump is one of those guys.
Yes, when Trump was saying that there was good people on the Nazi side, on the racist skinhead side. The black folks will go on there and say, well, he apologized and I accept his apology because we need higher taxes, we need lower taxes, and we need this and that. Because they're in such a bubble, they don't even see the racism in front of their face.
Let me tell you why that doesn't hold weight.
It's still not okay. It's still accountable for that.
Trump is one of those people, right? He's definitely one of those people that's probably and more than likely oblivious to everyday black culture, everyday black living, the insensitivity of someone showing a black face or bringing up black Sambo or something like that. He's amongst that percentile that exists, that Bruce is talking about, where it'd be hard for you to understand that those type of people exist. He's amongst those people. Donald Sterling is amongst the people that would sit there.
They're actual racists.
In general, no.
They're the Klansmen racists.
He's an NBA business owner. Yeah. He's an NBA business owner. And I say that at the same time because when you're so far up, it would make you more likely to be oblivious to what might be going on down here. I say that for a purpose. Those people, right, you would say, oh, they neglectful, they're negligent to what may go on or what's insensitive to African American people, but they're in the knowing. If we act like they're not in the know, if you act like Donald Trump doesn't know who Kanye West is, you're fooling yourself.
Okay,
you're fooling yourself. If you act like that, Donald Trump doesn't know who Jim Brown is, you're fooling yourself.
Last thing,
we would be lying to ourselves.
No, I don't think any of that. Last thing, I want to drive home the point. I'm talking about high-end fashion industry. It is unlike politics. It is unlike building buildings. It's unlike most other businesses. If you go and look at the castles, at the golden-plated castles that Versace holds their business in, if you look at the bubble around what they consider okay, what they consider decent and normal in their bubble, it is unlike almost anything else, which is why you pay $900 for a shirt with spikes on it, which is why it's not the same thinking of somebody who lives in the city and builds buildings. The fashion industry has been known to be ridiculous.
I disagree with that.
Has been known to be
you can't sit in Wall Street and sit in a lunch with Donald Trump. Trump was on Wall Street before politics. You can't sit in a conversation with him and his comrade and his cronies.
No. He wasn't on Wall Street. He was a building maker. He was simply in construction.
Right. And when he died, and as he became successful in the building infrastructure of New York City, he was on Wall Street. Yes, that he was on Wall Street. Him and his cronies or constituents, they did lunch on Wall Street. Those circles are just the same circles that you're speaking about with the fashion designers. Those are the same.
They're not.
Basketball owners. They are.
They're not.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you they are. And the reason I know this the reason I know this to be factual, because it's the same reason you have Jay-Z's hobnobbing with the Giants owners. It's the same reason you have Sean Combs hobnobbing and trying to buy an NFL team right now, because he's made it in the fashion business and in the entertainment business.
Also
with the billionaires. The billionaires. They're the same circles.
When I talk about high-end fashion, you tell me the last time you've seen The daughter of Versace, who is now the owner,
Kanye is high in fashion.
Do anything else in sports or in any other business?
It's the same thing.
What about the Gucci predecessors?
Are the Yeezys not considered high in fashion?
Yeezys, the Yeezys,
right?
Which is why his bubble is so ridiculous. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Your Kanye's is a completely different business person than both Trump and Jay-Z. Kanye's bubble thinks that slavery was a choice. And that's the exact thing I'm talking about. They're weirdos in that industry that run the high-end fashion industry. They're weirdos. They're a lot of times funny men. There are a lot of times people in a bubble that think it's okay to do whatever they want and not even care about history. You said the word prejudice. Everything outside of their bubble doesn't exist to them. And that is also their fault.
You're oblivious if you're thinking Kanye don't know what it means when he puts on that MAGA hat. You're the one.
He's oblivious. He just said no, he doesn't want anything because he did it.
If you don't know,
he did it.
If you think that Kanye doesn't know what it means when he puts on the MAGA hat, and that's just the MAGA hat that stands for Make America Great Again. You talking about people that own a business, that has a business, that knows black people is a part of that. They have Dapper Dan as a consultant, people. Don't let that fool you. This is a black.
Did Dapper Dan sign off on that?
He's a black designer from Harlem.
Did Dapper Dan sign off on that?
So if you think that they're that oblivious, you're the one.
Did Dapper Dan sign off on that?
Did Dapper Dan sign off on what?
On the mask.
Of course he didn't. Of course he didn't.
So what I'm telling you is, anyone outside of that bubble doesn't matter to them.
They're paying him. What do you mean they don't matter to him?
Because they think he's useful for the same people outside the bubble that they don't know.
And their moxie is that much to where they think that they can do that in your face. They think they can laugh and disrespect you right in your face. Just as I said, they're not oblivious. They're not negligent. They're laughing in your face.
Okay,
it's obvious.
You guys tell us.
It's obvious.
You guys tell us which one of this.
Or you won't have Dapper Dan as a consultant.
No, they have him because they need him because they have no idea how to talk to people on the street. That's why they have him.
But it means that you know what's going on in black culture.
It means that you don't, and you're hoping that he will tell you. Unfortunately, you didn't sign this one off with him.
Come on, I'm saying that it was purposely created not for the black people.
What do you
Y'all
think?
let us know.
Yeah, let us know what's going on. Let me real quick, we're gonna give these shout outs.
Is Bruce right in saying that it was just incidental?
No, it's not just incidental.
And they're just negligent?
It's still a racism.
That could be offensive towards black people?
A racism of neglect.
Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you, that bubble is hard. And all you gotta do is look at Kanye. Because he's in that bubble.
Look at Kanye.
He's in the bubble that
and
believes.
Let you know Trump is in the bubble. And he invited Kanye to the White House.
Kanye's in the bubble.
They're in the knowing.
Slavery was a choice.
They're in the knowing.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Kanye doesn't know anything.
And who's supporting who?
Kanye doesn't know anything.
If they don't know nothing else,
Kanye doesn't know anything.
They know who's supporting who.
Kanye doesn't know anything.
May not, but he did lunch at the White House.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, is those Versace and Gucci people don't know anything.
Dapper Dan, they've been making billions for years. They know a lot.
So what? You act like that.
It does. It doesn't. It does. It affords them the power to come out with ignorant stuff like this. That's my whole point.
What do y'all think?
That's my whole point.
Listen, I got some shout outs here, man.
Since they've discontinued and issued an apology that we don't accept.
Everybody said so. Everybody accept that.
And like I said, they're in the knowing. They're in the knowing.
Yeah, I think only thing they know is what's in that bubble. Tim H.
What makes them money? They know that this might cripple them.
Yeah, and now they know that, or else they wouldn't have made it if they thought they would lose their money if they knew that it looked like blackface, because they're about making money. It's not a conscious decision to lose money.
This proves again and again it's the richest. They're not always idiots. The smartest. Yeah.
That's it. Tim H. Should have done Big Crit versus J. Cole, says Tim H. Yeah, I think that was for the best conscious rapper. Nice one. I think Brother Ali is that nice. Lawrence Shadow.
We're not going to do this again.
Nah, we're not doing this today. Lawrence Shadow said, must be kidding me here. Ali is a political activist. Ali has been a political prisoner in Iran for rapping.
So is Killer Mike, but does he rap conscious better than Crit? I don't get what y'all keep saying with that.
Listen, man, y'all go read what Lawrence Shadow had to say. It's actually pretty informative, but there is the other side of that. I'm not sure
That makes him a better rapper.
But he says the Shadows on the Sun album pretty much proves he out-raps Big Crit all day, and that's the other side of it. MIC Mafia says, like the topics, can't wait to tune in for more. Appreciate that, man. Jason Collins, a bunch of fire marks and an OK symbol. Salute to you, brother. Aaron Avis says, I really like the show. Keep it up. Man, again, appreciate that. Wise Guy Entertainment Group says, J. Cole is way nicer lyricist, but the album Victory Lap from front to back is positive music with the rawest lyrics.
That's a fact. And you know what?
Yeah.
That seems to be the consensus.
I think that is the consensus. Listen, man, that's the Basement Debates for today. We debated this for hard. You guys tell us right down there in the comments who wins this debate and what do you think about this whole fiasco, this debacle of Gucci's blackface sweater.
Again, Donald Sterling all over, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I didn't know, I'm oblivious to the black people, but you know that Magic has AIDS. You know that Magic is what used to play for the Lakers in LA. Like, you know, they're in the knowing. Don't let them fool you. They're in the knowing. They know what's going on, and they still came out with the blackface.
What it comes down to is please support your independent
black label.
Black label.
Facts.
Thank you. Hey, with that being said, peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Bruce tried to get my blood flowing. So, yo, nah.
It's the racism of neglect right there.
Neglect.
That's the racism of neglect.
That's why I looked up my turn.
And nothing matters to them.
Make sure I'm not saying no more words.
Nothing matters to them.
That's not negligence.